I have been covering some of the best ETFs for maximizing growth, maximizing income, and minimizing downside risk. And there are a lot to choose from, but majority of the time, certain ETFs get buried behind all the noise surrounding popular ETFs. And very often, these hidden gems can provide amazing opportunities that investors can capitalize on. And today I'm going to talk about an ETF that has proven to be one of the best performing dividend ETFs. I mean, its performance has not only crushed some of the most popular passive dividend ETFs like SCHD and DGRO, but the ETF has also managed to outperform the S&P 500 in the last 3 years. And most importantly, the ETF is providing similar and at times even superior downside risk mitigation compared to some of the strongest ETFs like SCHD. And it has a dividend yield of almost 3%. So you're almost getting the entire package in this one ETF. And this brings me to FDVV, which is the Fidelity High Dividend ETF. This ETF is extremely unique. And in my opinion, it can provide investors with fantastic exposure to the markets and future growth while still minimizing overall volatility. FDVV has been on fire for the past few years and has been able to crush its peers while still providing a very strong dividend yield of almost 3%. And it is all due to its unique screening tactics, providing a combination of strong growth, strong risk mitigation, and of course, its strong dividend yield. In the bear market of 2022, FDVV managed to significantly outperform the S&P 500, losing only 5%, which is in line with SCHD's performance, and this is absolutely amazing. The ETF has also been amongst the best performing assets ever since the market started exhibiting heightened volatility over rate cut decisions and recession fears, proving its ability to minimize volatility. Now, I want to emphasize why dividend ETFs in general are performing so well. Investors tend to seek dividend assets during times of uncertainty because they naturally exhibit less volatility, serving as a very effective hedge. And companies that distribute dividends tend to exhibit strong free cash flow, financial stability, and dividend growth, all of which provide stability during uncertain times. So to begin, let's briefly run through the fundamentals of the ETF so that you can get a better understanding before moving forward. FDVV was established in September of 2016, so it does have a decent track record for investors to analyze. With an expense ratio of only 0.15%, it is slightly more expensive than other passive dividend ETFs like SCHD, but it is still very cheap, making it a great long-term ETF. And just for reference, for every $10,000 invested, you only pay $15 in annual fees. When you look at the fund's holding breakdown, this is where the unique attributes of the ETF come to light. You see a healthy mix of different sectors, with technology at the top at around 25%, consumer defensive, utilities, energy, and real estate making up the rest. The allocation towards real estate, utilities, and consumer defensives, while holding a significant portion in technology, is giving the ETF the ability to capitalize on upward movement within the tech sector while still providing a strong dividend yield. The real estate sector and the utility sector especially tend to have very high dividend yields, and 20% of the entire fund is allocated towards these two sectors. But here's where things get even crazier. When you look at the fund's top 10 holdings, you see the 4 biggest technology stocks, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Broadcom, at the top, making up 18% of the entire portfolio. And I have never seen a dividend ETF have such a heavy allocation towards big name tech stocks before. And that is why FDVV is gaining a lot of attention. And it's also likely why it's been able to appreciate much better than its peers, capturing the same upward momentum as the S&P 500. So the question is, how does this ETF work? I mean, what stock picking criteria allows you to have exposure to these giant tech stocks along with real estate and utilities and still provide an almost 3% yield? It almost doesn't make sense. So this is where I want you guys to pay very close attention. Now, aside from ETFs, when it comes to portfolio construction, I like to complement my allocations with individual stocks as well. One of my favorite tools for this is ProPix AI. This feature builds model portfolios based on different strategies, and it is designed to outperform benchmarks. And there are many powerful portfolio options you can choose from, such as tech titans, Warren Buffett's top 15, healthcare heroes, small cap sprinters, or the S&P 500 value portfolio. Every portfolio includes a detailed breakdown of each stock's financial health, earnings, cash flow, valuation, and even timestamps of when the position was opened or closed. Right now, they are running a flash sale where you can get up to a 55% discount. And if you use my link in the description, you can stack an extra 15% off on top of that. This sale is only for a limited time, so if you've been thinking about upgrading your research tools, This is a great time to grab Investing Pro at the lowest price available. Investing Pro gives you access to a massive database of global stocks and ETFs, which is backed by deep financial data, research tools, portfolio analytics, and both technical and fundamental insights. You'll also find portfolios from top fund managers like Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett, which you can analyze or even replicate directly inside the platform. As always, past performance is not indicative of future results, and this is not financial advice. I am simply sharing one of the tools I personally use to enhance my own research. If you'd like to check it out, you can use my link or code Victoria Media to get an additional 15% off for a total savings of up to 70% off. The ETF uses 3 screening tactics, and those are dividend yield, dividend payout ratio, and dividend growth. And the significance of each criteria heavily impacts the overall holdings. That is what the weight number represents. So clearly the ETF puts a heavy emphasis on dividend yield. That is why it has a 70% weight. Now, FDVV uses trailing dividend yield over the last 12 months. And this simply takes assets with the highest dividend yield over the last 12 months. Simple. So this naturally includes assets like REITs and utilities because they tend to have the highest dividend yields. One thing to note is that the dividend yield provided from REITs falls under non-qualified dividends, which means that likely a portion of the yield distributed from FDVV will be taxed as regular income. Now, I don't know exactly how much of it, but this is something to take note of. Now, utility stocks are also very favorable right now because of 2 reasons. For one, they are known as defensive assets. Investors seek utility stocks during times of uncertainty and volatility. These companies exhibit steady and predictable cash flows as they provide essential services, making them least susceptible to economic uncertainty. And utilities are known for paying consistent and relatively high dividend yields, making them one of the main sectors that investors shift towards. Moving on, the next screening criteria are the trailing dividend payout over the last 12 months and the trailing dividend growth over the last 12 months. Now, payout ratio is simply the amount of dividends distributed relative to earnings. So certain companies may distribute 50 to 75% of their earnings as dividends, or even more. FDVB is screening for high payout ratios, but avoids stocks within the top 5% of highest payout ratios. Now, dividend growth is something that I have discussed a lot, and it is a crucial aspect of dividend investing. But what's extremely unique here is that the fund doesn't screen for 5 years of historical dividend growth like other well-known ETFs, such as SCHD or DGRO. It only looks at the past 12 months. This criteria allows the ETF to include companies that are showing growing strengths in their ability to generate strong cash flow, resulting in strong dividend growth. There are many companies that exhibit very healthy financials and strong earnings growth, but have just recently started distributing a dividend, and the amount of dividends they provide may not be that much. And big name technology stocks fall under this category, such as Apple and Microsoft. Even companies that have just started distributing dividends could qualify for this ETF, which is why NVIDIA is also included in the fund's holdings. So this criteria allows the ETF to invest in many strong growth opportunities alongside strong dividend stocks, providing a very interesting balance. That is why when you look at the ETF's total performance side by side with SCHD, it has been able to crush it. But when you look at the bear market of 2022, the ETF provided the same level of downside risk mitigation. Now, one thing to note, when you look at the fund's performance since inception, it was heavily lagging behind SCHD in the recovery of 2020. And the main reason is because the ETF suffered almost 10% more in the pandemic sell-off. Now, I don't know why the ETF suffered more. When you look at its performance from the inception date to right before the pandemic, it was neck and neck with SCHD. And if you compare the performance from the market recovery after March of 2020, it was not only in line with SCHD for 2021 and 2022, but it managed to heavily outperform in 2023 and 2024. Now, of course, the video wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about some of the ETF's downsides. And the biggest one I can think of is the dividend growth criteria. Only considering the trailing 12-month dividend growth doesn't show consistency in the long term. Companies that have a history of strong dividend growth from 3 or 5 years are more likely to continue to provide dividend growth in the future. So the lack of historical growth, in my opinion, may be affecting the attractiveness of the ETF for dividend investors. I mean, when you think about it, given such an amazing performance, it doesn't really make sense for the ETF to have under $10 billion of assets under management. I would expect well over $20 billion. And of course, the 10% allocation towards real estate, although in my opinion is favorable, may be concerning to some investors because of its sensitivity towards interest rates and the lack of qualified dividends. But overall, FDVV has proven to be a fantastic ETF, and in my opinion, it does deserve more attention. And that is all for this one. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Discussions of ETFs, investing strategies, market updates, or specific funds are general, not tailored to your financial situation, and should not be relied upon for decision making. Investing involves significant risks, including total loss of principal, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I am not a registered financial advisor. My content reflects personal research and publicly available information. I may earn affiliate commissions from mentioned products or links disclosed per FTC guidelines, but these do not influence my opinions. Always consult a licensed financial professional and verify information independently. By watching this, you agree I am not liable for any losses or consequences from your actions. International viewers should consult local regulations.